We hear about the violence, the disaster, the catastrophe, and we wonder, what about the days after the tragedy? What happens to the children who witness it, the children who are involved in it, the children who are friends of the victims, their families? What happens inside a child who suddenly becomes homeless? What about children living in shelters where youth-on-youth aggression is an everyday thing? What happens to a young person who tries to rescue a parent from a burning house but can't, and that parent dies? What happens in the days and months after that? In a word, trauma. Trauma happens. It happens in all of our families. And when it happens, we don't always know what to do or what to say. But it's critically important to know how to respond to trauma. Traumatic stress symptoms, if not dealt with at the time, can affect the rest of one's life. This is especially so for children. Parents who are trying to care for their child are also traumatized and often unable to see the effects on themselves. This makes it tougher to help their children. They need help too. The Healing Place is BuildaBridge's response. It is an 8-week drama and arts-based course aimed at training parents, teachers, and older youth, or anyone who works with young people, in how to recognize and respond to trauma in children due to violence, catastrophe, and disaster. It gives simple, effective tools, techniques, and resources that all of us can use.
They've set it up sort of like Oprah, like a talk show, having people that are going through certain situations and then experts to sort of talk about how you help those people deal with their situations.
I like the way they use, the monologuing and the TV prop, type of atmosphere. It makes it more real, to me more practical.
I think it was a better tool to hold our attention instead of just listening to somebody present to us orally. To do it in that format was really good.
Teaching through drama and the arts allows people to become active participants in the training. It allows real-life visualizations and allows people to be able to try on and practice different ways of responding, and you get immediate feedback.
What it does is it helps you to not just read, but be able to see realistic application of how things should be done.
They use their books and their textbooks, but they actually got to get up here and try out the scenes. Not only do you learn it, but then you actually get to put it into practice.
The acting allows people to see the realness of this whole thing. To me, acting really makes something come alive.
The arts are powerful in helping people to tune into their own feelings and emotions, to communicate things that are hard to put into words, and to foster empathy for another person.
It really is a building of bridges, and it's a transition, and I look at it like a river, seeing them go from one side and the bridge, they cross the gap. And when they cross, they come away with a better understanding. They've grown, and it's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual for a lot of them.
In my line of business, I'm always looking for what works. I'm going to borrow a lot. They've got some really unique and different ways of approaching trauma and the pain and the anguish that people go through.
It also gave me an idea of something to use with children because they love to act. I find that that's really, really a good key for them to open up and express themselves, and a good key here to hold my attention to listen to more of what they had to say.
They leave better than they came, and that for me is the great satisfaction. And that's why I keep saying it is building that bridge. And they take it from where they were to where they're going, and they're going to pay it forward. They're going to pass it on.
The Healing Place is an important expression of BuildaBridge's mission to bring hope and healing to the most vulnerable people in our communities. People who often don't have access to or who cannot afford quality professional health care. We want to reclaim those lives to a healthy future. The Healing Place is where that happens.